The quiet hum of the refrigerator, a sound so constant it's almost imperceptible, often serves as the soundtrack to my pre-dawn hours. It's a time when the world outside is still cloaked in darkness, a stillness that amplifies the internal cacophony of thoughts, anxieties, and aspirations vying for attention. Lately, that internal noise has felt particularly overwhelming. It's not a dramatic crisis, not a sudden upheaval, but rather a slow, insidious creep of uncertainty, a feeling of being adrift without a clear compass. I suspect many can relate to this sense of quiet desperation, this subtle erosion of purpose that can occur amidst the routines and responsibilities of daily life. We navigate a world saturated with information, bombarded with choices, and perpetually connected, yet paradoxically, this hyperconnectivity often leaves us feeling more isolated and directionless than ever before. We chase external validation, strive for societal benchmarks of success, and accumulate possessions, all while neglecting the quiet whispers of our own hearts, the innate longing for something deeper, something more meaningful. The problem isn't necessarily the pursuit of these things, but rather the imbalance, the prioritization of the external over the internal, the neglect of our spiritual well-being in the relentless pursuit of worldly achievements. This imbalance, this neglect, can manifest in subtle ways, a persistent feeling of unease, a lack of joy despite outward success, a gnawing sense that something is missing. My own experience with this has been a gradual realization. I found myself increasingly irritable, less patient with loved ones, and strangely disconnected from the activities that once brought me joy. The vibrant colors of life seemed to have dulled, replaced by a monotonous gray. The realization dawned slowly, like the gradual sunrise, that I had allowed the external world to dictate my internal state, that I had become reactive rather than proactive in shaping my own life. I had, in essence, lost touch with that inner compass, that guiding light that helps us navigate the complexities of existence. The unique angle I'm exploring isn't about advocating for a specific religious dogma or prescribing a rigid set of spiritual practices. It's about rediscovering the power of intentionality, the transformative potential of starting each day with a conscious connection to something larger than ourselves, whatever form that may take. It's about cultivating a practice of morning prayer, not as a rote recitation of words, but as an opportunity for quiet reflection, for setting intentions, and for aligning our actions with our values. This is not about escaping the realities of life, but about grounding ourselves in a deeper sense of purpose, allowing us to navigate those realities with greater clarity, resilience, and grace. It's about acknowledging the inherent human need for connection, not just to other people, but to something transcendent, something that reminds us of our inherent worth and potential. It's about reclaiming the power to shape our own narratives, to choose our own paths, and to live lives that are aligned with our deepest values. It's about recognizing that the answers we seek are often found not in the external world, but within the quiet sanctuary of our own hearts. The journey ahead is not about finding the perfect prayer or adhering to a strict religious code, but about cultivating a daily practice of intentionality, of listening to that inner voice, and of aligning our actions with our deepest values, one sunrise at a time. Consider, then, the subtle difference between merely existing and truly living. Many of us operate on autopilot, propelled by habit and obligation, reacting to external stimuli rather than consciously creating our experiences. We become like weather vanes, buffeted by the winds of circumstance, constantly shifting direction in response to the latest trend or demand. Morning prayer, in this context, serves as an anchor, a grounding force that allows us to resist the pull of these external forces and remain centered on our own internal compass. It's a deliberate act of self-authorship, a conscious choice to define our day rather than allowing the day to define us. A significant aspect of incorporating morning prayer involves cultivating a spirit of gratitude. Not a superficial, obligatory acknowledgement of blessings, but a deep, heartfelt appreciation for the simple gifts of life, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the taste of fresh coffee, the laughter of a loved one. This shift in perspective, from focusing on what we lack to appreciating what we have, can dramatically alter our overall sense of well-being. Think about the last time you truly savored a moment, allowing yourself to be fully present and appreciative. Did it not leave you feeling more grounded, more content, more resilient? Expanding on this notion, prayer is not exclusively about petitioning for divine intervention, it's fundamentally about cultivating a deeper understanding of ourselves. It provides a space for honest self-assessment, a dedicated time to examine our motivations, our actions, and our impact on the world around us. As a result, we gain clarity about our strengths and weaknesses, our values and our aspirations. This self-awareness, in turn, empowers us to make more conscious choices, to align our actions with our intentions, and to live more authentically. Now, consider how this applies when you face a challenging situation at work. Instead of reacting impulsively, driven by anger or frustration, you can draw upon the inner peace cultivated through your morning practice. You can approach the situation with greater clarity, empathy, and wisdom, seeking solutions that are not only effective but also aligned with your values. It's about responding with intention rather than reacting out of habit. By the same token, integrating morning prayer into your routine provides an opportunity to release anxieties and fears. Many of us carry around a heavy burden of worry, constantly replaying past mistakes or anticipating future disasters. Prayer allows us to surrender these burdens, to acknowledge our limitations, and to trust that we are not alone in navigating the challenges of life. It's about cultivating a sense of inner peace and resilience, knowing that even in the midst of chaos, there is a source of strength and guidance available to us. This practice, therefore, fosters a sense of calm detachment, allowing us to observe our anxieties without being consumed by them. In essence, it is about transforming our perspective from one of fear to one of faith, not necessarily in a religious context, but in the broader sense of trusting in the inherent goodness and potential of life. Taking this a step further, let's explore the concept of prayer as a form of mental rehearsal. Elite athletes often visualize success before a competition, mentally practicing each movement, each play, each scenario. Similarly, morning prayer can serve as a form of mental preparation for the day ahead. It's an opportunity to consciously envision how we want to respond to challenges, how we want to interact with others, and what kind of energy we want to bring to our endeavors. It's about proactively shaping our experience rather than passively reacting to it. In considering this proactive approach, it's vital to differentiate between passive wishful thinking and active intention setting. Passive wishful thinking is akin to hoping for rain without planting seeds. Active intention setting, on the other hand, involves clearly defining our goals, visualizing their achievement, and committing to taking concrete steps toward their realization. Morning prayer provides a fertile ground for nurturing these intentions, for imbuing them with energy and purpose. Think of it as planting seeds in the garden of your mind, watering them with intention, and tending to them with consistent action throughout the day. Another crucial layer is the aspect of forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others. Holding on to resentment and bitterness is like carrying a heavy stone in our pocket, weighing us down and preventing us from moving forward. Morning prayer offers a space to release these burdens, to cultivate compassion, and to extend forgiveness, not as an act of condoning harmful behavior, but as an act of liberating ourselves from its grip. Visualize yourself releasing each resentment, each grievance, each past hurt, allowing them to float away like balloons into the vast expanse of the sky. Now, consider how this translates into your relationships. Perhaps you've been harboring resentment toward a family member, a colleague, or even yourself. Morning prayer provides an opportunity to examine these feelings, to understand their root causes, and to choose a different path, a path of compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. It's about breaking free from the cycle of negativity and creating space for more positive and fulfilling connections. On a different note, it's important to acknowledge that the benefits of morning prayer are not contingent upon adhering to a specific religious tradition. While prayer is often associated with organized religion, it can also be practiced in a secular context, as a form of mindfulness, meditation, or simply quiet reflection. The key is to find a practice that resonates with you, that allows you to connect with your inner self, and that helps you cultivate a sense of purpose and meaning in your life. It's about creating a space for stillness amidst the chaos, a sanctuary where you can reconnect with your values, set your intentions, and prepare yourself for the day ahead. In that vein, let's dissect the potential for morning prayer to refine our decision-making. Life presents us with a constant stream of choices, large and small, each with its own set of consequences. Often, we make these decisions reactively, swayed by emotions or external pressures, without taking the time to consider our values or our long-term goals. Morning prayer provides a crucial pause, a moment of stillness in which we can connect with our inner wisdom and make choices that are aligned with our true selves. To elaborate, consider the concept of moral clarity. In a world filled with ambiguity and conflicting values, it can be difficult to discern the right course of action. Morning prayer can help us develop a stronger sense of moral compass, allowing us to navigate ethical dilemmas with greater confidence and integrity. It's about reflecting on our values, considering the potential consequences of our actions, and choosing the path that is most consistent with our principles. Think of it as calibrating your moral compass each morning, ensuring that it is pointing true north before you embark on your daily journey. Diverging slightly, it's worth acknowledging the potential challenges in establishing a consistent morning prayer practice. The demands of modern life, with its early commutes, demanding schedules, and constant distractions, can make it difficult to carve out even a few minutes for quiet reflection. However, it's precisely because of these challenges that the practice is so valuable. It requires a conscious commitment, a deliberate prioritization of our spiritual well-being, and a willingness to make adjustments to our routines. Now, consider how this impacts your professional life. Imagine you are faced with a difficult ethical decision at work, one that could potentially benefit you personally but harm others. Morning prayer can provide the clarity and courage to make the right choice, even if it is not the easiest or most popular one. It's about acting with integrity, even when no one is watching, and knowing that you are staying true to your values. Turning to another angle, the practice of morning prayer can also foster a greater sense of connection to something larger than ourselves. Whether you call it God, the universe, or simply a higher power, acknowledging the interconnectedness of all things can provide a sense of comfort, hope, and meaning in the face of adversity. It's about recognizing that we are part of something vast and mysterious, and that our lives have a purpose that extends beyond our individual concerns. This recognition, thus, instills a sense of humility and perspective, reminding us that we are not the center of the universe, and that our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate surroundings. Reflecting on this journey so far, one begins to discern a pattern emerging, a tapestry woven from threads of intention, gratitude, self-awareness, forgiveness, proactive planning, moral clarity, and interconnectedness. These elements, initially presented as individual facets, now coalesce into a unified approach to navigating the complexities of life. It's akin to assembling the pieces of a mosaic, each distinct in its color and shape, yet contributing to a larger, more beautiful design. The cumulative effect is not merely additive, but synergistic, with each element amplifying the power and impact of the others. The essence of this approach resides not in adhering to a rigid set of rules or doctrines, but in cultivating a daily practice of mindful awareness. It's about transforming the mundane act of waking each morning into an opportunity for conscious connection, a moment to pause, reflect, and align ourselves with our deepest values. The potential transformation isn't about becoming a different person, but about becoming more fully ourselves, more attuned to our inner wisdom, and more capable of living with purpose and intention. With that in mind, this isn't about discovering some hidden secret or unlocking a magical formula for success. It's about recognizing the inherent power that resides within each of us, the capacity to shape our own lives, to make conscious choices, and to live in alignment with our values. It's about reclaiming our agency, breaking free from the cycle of reactivity, and becoming the authors of our own stories. The power lies not in the prayer itself, but in the intention behind it, the commitment to living a more mindful, purposeful, and compassionate life. Considering all of this, the path forward is less about seeking external validation or striving for worldly achievements, and more about cultivating inner peace, resilience, and joy. It's about shifting our focus from the external to the internal, from the material to the spiritual, and from the reactive to the proactive. It's about recognizing that true happiness is not found in the accumulation of possessions or the attainment of status, but in the cultivation of inner qualities such as gratitude, compassion, and self-awareness. As we pivot toward the final reflection, it becomes clear that the true value of morning prayer is not in the specific words we utter or the rituals we perform, but in the transformative effect it has on our hearts and minds. It's about creating a space for stillness amidst the chaos, a sanctuary where we can reconnect with our values, set our intentions, and prepare ourselves for the day ahead. It's about cultivating a daily practice of intentionality, of listening to that inner voice, and of aligning our actions with our deepest values, one sunrise at a time. The dawn beckons, not just as the start of a new day, but as an invitation to a new way of being. Ultimately, the invitation extended here is not to adopt a specific religious practice, but to embrace a philosophy of intentional living, one that begins with the quiet promise of each new dawn. It's about recognizing that each day is a blank canvas, an opportunity to create a life that is aligned with our deepest values, a life that is filled with purpose, meaning, and joy. The power to shape that life lies not in the external circumstances we encounter, but in the internal compass we cultivate. The journey toward this intentional life is not a destination to be reached, but a path to be walked, a continuous process of self-discovery and growth. It's about learning to listen to the whispers of our hearts, to trust our intuition, and to make choices that are guided by wisdom and compassion. It's about embracing the challenges that come our way, not as obstacles to be overcome, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. The struggles, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, these are not signs of failure, but rather integral parts of the journey, opportunities to learn, to adapt, and to emerge stronger and more resilient. Consider, then, the image of a lighthouse, standing tall and unwavering amidst the storms, its beam guiding ships safely to shore. Morning prayer, in this context, serves as our own internal lighthouse, providing clarity, direction, and hope in the face of life's inevitable challenges. It's a source of strength and resilience, a reminder of our inherent worth and potential, and a beacon that guides us toward our true north. The true practice begins now, not as a rigid adherence to a prescribed formula, but as a gentle unfolding of awareness, a conscious commitment to living each day with intention and purpose. It begins with a single breath, a moment of gratitude, a whispered intention, and a willingness to embrace the possibilities that await us. It's about recognizing that we are not simply passengers on this journey, but active participants, capable of shaping our own destinies and creating a world that is more just, compassionate, and beautiful. Let the quiet moments of the morning not just be a prelude to the day, but a foundation for a life lived with purpose, guided by inner wisdom, and radiating outward with compassion and grace. The sun rises, and with it, a new opportunity to walk the path.